Welcome back, guys, to another video where today we're going to be talking about two back-to-back snowstorms possible this week, one coming from Tuesday to Wednesday and then one further in the week. So here I have pulled up the possible snowfall totals for the first event we'll be talking about, where we could see upwards to 2 to 9 inches in Duluth. Quite a wide range here because currently, right now, we don't know exactly where the storm track is. A lot of models are hinting it at being around like the northern edge where the arrowhead can definitely get hit, and then northern Minnesota into northern Wisconsin here with the UP and Michigan also. So I mean, for the Twin Cities area, currently it's half an inch to 2 inches, but we'll talk about kind of what all the models are showing here. Because, I mean, this can easily shift south, and that could be the difference between, 1 inch to six possible, or 6 inches. Definitely something to look into if you're up in Duluth, Grand Rapids, Brainerd, Rice Lake, Wausau, Green Bay, even. Usually we talk about the Twin Cities area, but this is just going to sweep along. It's a clipper system. It's going to be fast. It actually does have a lot of moisture, which you don't usually see because there's not as much interference to the south, which we'll talk about here with our model run. So this is kind of what's happening at the moment here. Actually, we'll just do that. So it's a little updated there because that was a little outdated. So this system right here just impacted parts of southern Minnesota and parts of northern Iowa. Brought a little bit of snow, maybe upwards to 6 inches there. And then as we go further in a week, we could see some light snowfall here in western Minnesota. Nothing too big. I think maybe like an inch at most. And then here's the big ones here. This first one will definitely be one to watch out for. I mean, it's looking a little weaker than the other system, but still quite a bit of snowfall expected. That's into actually Monday into Tuesday. So what we're going to be looking at is Monday into Tuesday and then Tuesday into Wednesday. So literally back-to-back snowstorms. And then this one is a big one here. This one, the GFS is showing it a lot further south than other models. Definitely something to pay attention to here as it just moves along, and then that should be mostly out of the Minnesota area by Wednesday morning. So Tuesday ultimately is looking like a big setup. I think yesterday when I did my weather report, this was actually a little further, it was a little further in the forecast. Now the fact that we have two back-to-back snow events is quite interesting here. And as you can see here, if you pay attention to the south, there isn't much interference, which is allowing all that moisture to kind of just arrive over here. So, and then of course Pacific, but usually with these clipper systems, watch where they form here. This is the I think county of Alberta. I don't know, like territory maybe. I'm not entirely sure with Canadian like government terms, but I think this is Alberta. This is Alberta right here. That's for sure. And all of these clipper systems, just watch over that region there is all of them are forming over here. So that's what we call an Alberta clipper. Usually, I mean, most of the time they're fast. They don't have a lot of moisture, but due to not that much interference going on here, I mean, that's just fueling the flame basically. For just allowing all that moisture to just creep up onto the northern plains. If we saw a storm or two, like down here, or like another low pressure center move over here, I mean, this could definitely been like a typical Alberta Clipper, but because of not that much interference there, I mean, we're seeing a lot. I mean, a lot of moisture, but it is moving quite fast. So if this was slow moving, we could be talking about a definitely a winter storm for sure. But I think, yeah, this will definitely some sort of region. Now, if we look at the European model here, we'll look at other GFS some models too here. You see here light snow possible for western Minnesota, and then that moisture kind of dissipates there as it's kind of falling along with that high pressure center. This one is the first system we're talking about, and then I mean this basically agrees with it. Monday night into Tuesday here, and then this one, once again, has it a little farther north, but look at those isobars. Because we're going to be seeing so much, I mean, we already see a lot of snow on the ground. I think we have like 6 inches on the ground right now in the Twin Cities area. And right now, look at those isobars. That's a little bit of a concern because we're gonna have even more snow after this snow event, and we are gonna have strong winds. You don't need a lot of snowfall to create blizzard conditions. You just need a lot of standing snow at least. I mean, if there is a lot of snowfall, that just adds fuel to the fire, but when you have a lot of standing snow, especially fluffy snow, I mean, I was walking in it last night and it was pretty powdery. So, I mean, once that wind gets underneath that, it's just going to pick it up and just create whiteout conditions. But the good thing is it looks like it's going to be more towards the midnight hours, so the evening commute will probably be affected by this. The first system is a lot weaker. That's Monday night into Tuesday. Looks a little weaker. I mean, still a lot of snowfall, especially with temperatures being a little cooler. I think actually Tuesday is supposed to be the warmest, but um, definitely a little cooler than expected. And then, yeah, I think Wednesday is going to be the big hitter here, and that's one to watch out for. I mean, both of them are definitely ones to watch out for. But here's kind of so this is 84 hours out, so this is what to expect altogether from these two systems. You can see here um, once that color turns into purple. I know it's a little hard to see. Maybe I can zoom it up a little bit here. Yeah, that'll do for now. You can see here. So once that purple or that once that blue turns into purple, that is of course 6 inches there. And there's a little bit of scrutiny. I mean, if we look across the models here, you can see here Ensemble Model 16. Now these are old models just bunched in together. Luckily, I mean, basically it just shows us kind of what the mean average is. Ensemble Model 2, for example, has it a lot farther south, but it has a more narrow band. If you look here at Ensemble Model 16, it's a wider band of 6 inches. What am I going to bet on? I think right now it's kind of too early to tell because, I mean, it's Sunday morning right now. And we're talking about two possible events happening over the next 84 hours, and they're back to back to each other. So this will, if one, does something a little different than the next one, then the ultimate decider is going to be affected by whatever the first one does. So definitely something to pay attention to. If we look at the bare minimum, and the bare minimum, I mean, this could be definitely a hit or miss event here, where I mean, Duluth I mean, is at least going to see 1 inch. Don't, this isn't the actual snowfall like totals. This is just bare minimum of everything. And right now, there's pretty high confidence in northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and then of course the UP of Michigan. Definitely high chances. This is, I mean, the high-end snowfall, but with us still being 84 hours out of these total events, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if it shifts south, if it shifts north, but definitely a lot of moisture to go alongside of it. If we look at winter storm severity, this is kind of what to expect in terms of impacts. Of course, this can change, but just a little bit minor impacts expected. I think if we go into snow amount looks to be pretty big. Snow load, I think could definitely use, maybe more minor impacts. Ice accumulation, definitely not something. Blowing snow may definitely be an issue on the backside of this, but because it's possibly going to happen around the midnight hours, it shouldn't be much to an effect, as a lot of people won't be traveling at midnight, or hopefully not, especially with a winter storm. So it shouldn't catch too many people off by surprise, but definitely stay tuned into your local forecast, especially me, if you're like up to date, because I'll be uploading basically every single day from now on. So mean, you see here, I mean, it's kind of looking on the low end of, maybe 6 to 10 inches. We may creep into double digits, but that might be a localized. If we look here, this is something interesting here. So this is the seasonal accumulation, what we've seen altogether this season. This isn't snow depth. This isn't, what to expect here. And you can see here 6 inches to 1 foot of snow already on the ground for most of the Twin Cities region. If we go back a year, the previous winter, this is what we saw as of right now, as of December 12th. It's crazy to think that we're so far. I think, yeah, or December 7th, actually. You can see here, not a lot of snowfall, a lot less snowfall. If we go back, again, a lot less, because most of this area was around 1 inches, and now we're only talking about maybe 2 to 6 inches. In some areas, not even maybe a trace of snow. 22 to 23, this is going to be a big outlier because whatever this first and second storm do, this could definitely propel us in front of 22 23. Because if you remember, I mean, not a lot of people may remember this, but December 2022, we saw, first of all, a big snowstorm, and then Arctic cold. I think we saw temperatures as low as -40 to -50 degrees. Apparently, it was a category 3 or category 5. We can actually look more into it here. 2022 December, not hurricane, what am I trying to, winter storm. If you go back here, we'll just go here. It was should tell us a little bit about this. Yeah, this is what I'm currently talking about. Category 4, crippling winter storm. So not only do we categorize hurricanes, but we also categorize winter storms here. And really what this, I mean, look at this. This is winter blizzard warnings for most of the Dakotas, winter storm warnings for at least for most of Wisconsin. I mean, just crazy to think about. And then, I mean, just it was just crazy. A lot of people actually died from this storm too. I mean, it just swept across the plains here. You see fatalities. Um, no one too from Wisconsin, Minnesota. I don't think saw any fatalities, but I mean, not, I mean, this isn't what we're looking into, but I mean, this was from December 1st, 21st to December 26th, so a little later on in the season. But that we could propel in front of us as this is snow totals were around the same range, maybe upwards, maybe just above a foot of snow for some regions, especially north of the Twin Cities. But I mean, these two storms will ultimately determine like we could be in front of 22, 23. Which if we look at snow totals for that year, I had it. Where is it? Snowfall. If we go back to climatology here, never mind, we'll just go into the season forecast here. Let's look at this. So this is how much snow we saw in total. So as you can see here, around 6 to 8 inches, maybe even creeping up to 8 to 10 inches more on the northern side of the Twin Cities, and then around 10 to 15 inches for areas like Duluth. So this year was absolutely crazy. If we look at 23 to 24, we only saw, I mean, some areas only saw 6 to 1 inches in parts like Mankato, which is just crazy to think about from 23 to 24. 24 to 25, I think, was a little more. We saw around 2 to 3 inches or 2 to 3 feet here um, in the Twin Cities metropolitan area, and we still have January and February to go. So if we have a good start to the winter season, we could be on to possibly beat 22, 23. But I mean, that was a historic winter. Will it happen? Maybe, maybe not. But going back to kind of what to expect from this, the winter storm severity, I mean, these are still going to be updated. I mean, this goes until, well, and surprisingly, not a lot discretion. So definitely something to pay attention to as these first few storms definitely will be a deciding factor behind what we could see. I mean, this could propel us in front of the 22-23 season, which, if you don't know, 22-23 was, of course, historic, and I think we could be on. But definitely a wide range here. I mean, definitely take this with a grain of salt as these two storms, it will definitely be a little harder to forecast because these are going to be back to back. If one thing happens to the first storm, I mean, that could ultimately determine what happens to the second storm. But, and I mean, that's kind of why we have these wide ranges here. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed that forecast, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll definitely be uploading up to this event. Probably until Wednesday, I'll be doing daily uploads. And then, yeah, we could go in the future here. I always say bye. I such a Midwest goodbye. as I say goodbye, and then I go on to a different topic. But you can, I mean, you can leave the video if you want, but this is the extended forecast here, and you can see here, kind of, just relatively a quiet pattern, possibly after, so a little bit of a break. So if you're a snow hater, I mean, this snow will probably be staying for a little bit, but relatively quiet in terms of stuff. And then, of course, you have 250 hours out, way too far out to predict certain. But here's the temperature graphs for the next week or so here. We might see on Tuesday, actually, we might see temperatures just about borderline freezing there, but overall, another cold blast possible next weekend. And then I think really we're looking at, below freezing for most of the next part, I think until probably December 25th, which of course is Christmas. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Definitely going to be uploading for the next couple of days here on these two snow events here. Definitely something to pay attention to. Be safe and have a good rest of your weekend. So see you guys later.